Comics of 100 Years Ago, September 17th, 1924. It's Little Orphan Annie by Harold Gray. Mrs. Warbucks has two of her friends over, a shorter, stout woman and a taller, skinny woman. Both are in very 1920s fashions. One has a headscarf with a bow, the other has a fur hat on, and they are both wearing them in the house, which is interesting. The stouter one has a pearl necklace that goes tightly around her neck, and the skinny one is wearing a fur collar. Annie watches their interaction from behind a door. "I see by the papers, Mrs. Warbucks, that you are quite a heroine," says the thinner woman. "Weren't you terribly frightened?" says the stouter woman. "Oh, did that get into the papers? I must see what they said," Mrs. Warbucks says. The two ladies sit down on a sofa that has a pretty ridiculous, like pole cord decoration at the sides of it. I guess it's a love seat, not a sofa, because it just fits the two ladies. "It's all over the front page," says the thinner woman. Mrs. Warbucks holds the paper up. She's wearing a black dress and has the long necklace on again. "Society woman routs 4 gunmen. Well, I declare I must read the papers more carefully after this." The two women hold the paper as they sit on the love seat, and one says, "I wish I had an extra copy to take to the club." "I'll see if I can find another paper. Maybe the servants have one," says Mrs. Warbucks. Annie comes in with 2 rolled up papers and says, "How about these 2 papers out of the 50 extra you bought this morning?" Mrs. Warbucks turns red, holds her head in her hand and holds another hand in front of her face, and the two women sitting on the love seat chuckle to one another. They're also still wearing their gloves indoors. The one looks like she's wearing driving gloves, actually.